YouTube shuts channel of Hong Kong's leadership candidate. Google says it's complying with U.S. sanctions on officials. Internet giant's action spurs debate over Hong Kong freedoms. Shout out Cole. Shout out Vapor Trails. Shout out Hilly Hoo. Do you know what's going on in Hong Kong, Will? No? Oh, you remember when all the protesting was going on and the political strife, disruption?
The unrest.
Okay, you could call it unrest. Your words. And there was talk about what was going to be like politically post becoming part of China again. It was a very complicated matter. Well, anyway, you're having your next leader waiting in the wings here. And I presume there was some sort of promotional material going on YouTube, which got me to question, first of all, the YouTube's availability in Hong Kong. And if that ever comes into question, I presume it's still available there at the moment. Can you give me a quick Google? Is YouTube available in Hong Kong? Because once you've had it, you wouldn't want to not. Oh, there you go. China excluding Hong Kong and Macau. YouTube can still be accessed in Hong Kong, Macau, the Shanghai Free Trade Zone, specific hotels, and obviously by using a VPN. So it's there. And I guess in order to promote, campaign as you would, you might have been running ads on YouTube as a potential upcoming leader. My understanding is that this individual was already going to win or was preparing to win because
he was a favorite.
Google and Meta Platforms, Facebook, moved on Wednesday to curtail the social media presence of Hong Kong's sole chief executive candidate, an unusual move to comply with U.S. sanctions that thrust the American internet giants into the debate over perceived erosion of freedoms in the city. YouTube shut down the campaign channel of former policeman John Lee's election campaign channel, citing sanctions Washington imposed on officials allegedly involved in quashing the pro-democracy movement that erupted in 2019. Lee, a staunch supporter of the China extradition bill that sparked the protest in Hong Kong, that was that you could have people pulled from Hong Kong, extradited to mainland China as to be punished or to be held at trial outside of Hong Kong. That caused the eruption originally for his role in curtailing political freedoms under China's national security law. Oh, here we have TN weighing in. Thank you very much, by the way. Shout out. He's saying, yes, YouTube is in HK. I'm in HK. So there we have an insider. Maybe,
no VPN.
Maybe he can give us more information as our new Hong Kong insider. Shout out, Ben.
Okay, I'll keep watch.
Let us know, TN, how you feel about this decision by YouTube to cut this guy, to cut off his channel, promoting his campaign, and just what you think about him coming into power in general. Could be interesting. I mean, when do you have access to somebody on the ground in Hong Kong? It is unusual to have a political figure banned on social media platforms. Obviously, we remember the Donald Trump situation, Twitter, Facebook. Alex Jones is another example, but kind of a different story. Not a political figure. Wasn't running for office, I don't think, at the time. Here's his response. I'm disappointed that some media have taken action based on the so-called reasons that I was sanctioned. The 64-year-old Lee told reporters on Wednesday, the unreasonable so-called sanction that the U.S. government directed at me for my efforts to maintain national security is an act of bullying. And he's not for it. I guess they have some deal. I guess there's some sort of sanction specifically targeting this type of thing, and they're going to uphold it. This gets back to our conversation about social media, Elon Musk, and having Vin there yesterday, about how the whole freedom situation, it comes into question when you're talking about very severe ends of the spectrum, when you're talking about sanctions, when you're talking about politics, when you're talking about, I mentioned doxing, I mentioned requests from police and law enforcement in specific regions. It gets complicated. Anyway, we'll have to wait and see.